up, guys? Happy Sunday, good afternoon. For me, it is good morning whenever I'm recording this video, but so good to see you. It's been a minute since I've done a devotion on here. You guys have been doing great with the devotions. It just brings me so much joy to see that, but I'm so excited to be back with you to be able to give a devotion this week. A little update. Last night, man, guys, last night was rough. I got home at 10 p.m., got to my door to realize that I did not have the keys to my apartment, and I had no idea where they were at. And so I actually went back to the church and randomly found them on the ground. It was a answer to prayers. Oh my gosh, guys. I was gonna have to sleep in my car or something. I don't know, but thank God that I found those keys. But anyway, I want to bring you guys a story today. We all somewhat, I have to give my title. I always forget. So my title this week is going to be, don't let the thorn in your blank be the thorn in your, and another blank. So let's get right into it. So I'm sure everyone somewhat knows the story of Job. And this is a man who God says there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. And so this is a man who worships God. He prays and praises God for everything that he's been blessed with. And the devil comes to God then, and he says, I'm sure that Job will turn and that he will curse you if he is tested. And God's like, well, I'll allow you to test him. I will allow you to test him because I'm sure that he won't. And I believe that Job won't. And Job then proceeds to lose everything. He lost all of his property, his cattle, and then his children. He had 10 children and he lost all of them. It says a great wind came into the house where they were and it just blew them away. It just killed them all. And so through all of this, Job is grieving, but he still praises God in his prayers. And I want to read from you Job chapter 2, verses 9 through 10. And this is just a portion that I really, whenever I saw this kind of just like goes along with this devotion here. It says, and this is Job talking to his wife. He says, then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thy integrity? She's like, how can you still have integrity here? Curse God and die. She said, just go ahead, just curse God and die. This is God's fault. This is what he's doing. Go ahead, curse him and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish woman speaketh. It says, what shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? So he's saying, like, what is it for us to always just receive good? We are going to be tested. We are going to be tried. In all this, did Job not sin with his lips? It says that he did not once in any of this sin with his lips. Did he never denounce God? He never said anything against God because he knew that God was still God. And he was still all-powerful and almighty. And so I want to tell you there's a quick story that I have. I remember back in 2015, I was at a conference in Indianapolis, and there was one of the preachers for this conference. He started telling this story about his wife, and he said that very suddenly, her father passed away. It was very sudden, a really big shock to the whole family. And he said that, she sat on the pew, second row at their church, sat on the pew for a year and never went to the altar. And he said she'd never, never prayed, never really prayed, never really she just for the whole year just grieved and was just so bitter at God. Like, God, why would you do this? Why would you do this? And it said then that she then it was just after a year, and she was sitting there, and all of a sudden God spoke to her, and he said to her, "Don't let the thorn in your flesh be the thorn in your spirit." And man, that, like, even just now hearing that, it just gets me, because, you know, there are so many times where we just allow, like, something happens to us in our lives, and the instant our first instinct is to question God, like, God, why would you do this? Why would this happen? You know, everything that's happening to me right here, why would you allow this? And for God to speak to her and say, "Don't let the thorn in your flesh be the thorn in your spirit." That's been something that I've always, from that point on, hearing that, is to live knowing that God is God and God has it all in control. And there are going to be times where we are tried, and there are going to be times where we are tested. But God's grace and God's mercy and God's love will just supersede anything that you go through. And so never let your reason for feeling hurt become your excuse for being bitter at God. And so that is the devotion today. And my questions here are, what was my fill in the blank? So what was my title? And I'm going to test you guys with this one. This one I did not say in the devotion here, but I want you guys to go research it and go look it up. So after Job's children were killed, what did Job do afterwards? After they were killed, he went and he did something to his appearance. And I want you guys to go look that up, and I want you guys to answer that. And then last is, what is a time where you allowed the thorn in your flesh to be the thorn in your spirit? We all have those times where we've done that. We're not perfect. We've had those times where we've questioned God. And so I want you guys to think about that. Where was a time where you feel that something happened in your life and you questioned God? And then what was the outcome? And you may still be going through it right now, and that's okay. Is that, you know, that's why we have these, and that's why we have these Zoom calls, to talk about these things. And we all go through these things. So I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow night, Zoom call. We're going to be making some changes here shortly. On the Zoom call, we're going to be talking about that. So get on there. We'll have the link out. But love you guys. We'll see you next time.